Okay. Third time's a charm. Well, you know what? I need a song. Wrote a song about it. Like to hear. Here you go. Okay. Come on. I don't need no connection issues. Not today. Not today. Thank you. Thank you. Approve. Add.
All right.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now you sideways. I need you to turn your camera the other way. There
Just
you
one.
go.
Hold on. Let me go get my thing.
Bless the Lord, saints.
I got 5 minutes. Hold on.
Well, I'm already live, so yo, whatever you're doing is showing right now. I feel like Tabitha. Welcome to Very Good Thursdays. Welcome to Very Good Thursdays. And you got these glasses sitting on top of your head like a preacher.
You know when when you can't see and you have to take them off so you can read up close.
I know. You know what? You know who does that, and it drives me insane.
Who?
Pastor Eric. He's like constantly doing this, put them in his pocket, put them back on. I'd be like, child, put them glasses down.
Look, that's a preacher thing.
I know, and it is because somebody else does that. I don't know if you watch Pastor Mike Todd, but his little associate pastor,
Uh-huh.
the little young dude, if he wears a jacket, he is constantly buttoning and unbuttoning his jacket. The whole sermon drives me insane. Like, sir, take that jacket off. Just
So
take it.
my quirk is that I'm always fiddling with my head.
Right, right. Yeah, everybody got something. Everybody
Exactly.
got something.
And that's my thing. I've been doing it ever since I've been preaching, and that's like 20 plus years ago.
Really?
Hmm.
You gonna preach tonight, sir?
I'm not. I'm probably gonna have some people mad at me, but I'll be all right. I'm gonna do the JV thing. I'm gonna give you $9.99. $1 million worth of game for $9.99.
Right.
So
Well, I'm glad you got it. I didn't know. See, when I asked you, had you ever done it before? You was like, yeah. I'm like, sir, you
I
can
had,
use a laptop, sir.
but I didn't know that I had to be on
A
my
phone.
phone to do it.
Mhm. Right.
So, but we good now.
Yeah, we can do that. Actually, we can. I mean, it's not quite 6:30, but we can go ahead and jump in. I mean, hopefully, people will come in. If they don't, they just have to watch it later.
I just shared it on my page, so say
Oh,
maybe
you
some of my
did?
people will come in and get it.
I wonder. See, and once I'm live, I can't share it. I guess because I'm hosting.
Right.
But
But the thing is, I, this right here been like really, really in my spirit, right? And the topic that you chose,
mm-hmm,
uh, volume versus value,
mm-hmm.
man, those things were twin cousins. And I told somebody, I said, the thing about volume, people always think volume is a bad thing, right? But
And
that's
it's
what
not
you,
making him. Oh, we got one person.
hey, Kim, how are you? But volume, to me, is not a bad thing when you're dating because you have to have volume to determine what you want and what you don't want in a person. we all have a generic list. You know, I want them, you know, thin in the waist, cute in the face, or whatever.
Right.
But there's some things that you like that you don't know you like till you're exposed to them.
Oh, absolutely.
And so,
Absolutely.
and so everybody that I've ever dated, I've got something from them that I liked. The
Okay.
rest I just get it, throw it away. And,
Right.
and, and that's the issue, that most of the time we don't have a defined set of values, so we end up all over the place, or a defined set of what we like and what we don't like, and we end
Uh-huh.
up all over the place. And generally what happens is as men, we end up dating the same person in a different skin. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell people all the time, date in volume when you're single, not when you're married, not when you date with somebody, not when you're serious, but before you get to that point of being serious.
I totally agree with that. I do. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, date in volume. I'm not talking about increase your body count now, because people always say, well, you know, you've been with all these people. No, I'm not talking about increasing your body
No,
count. But date
I
different
no,
people.
I don't think body count either.
Right, right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that ain't my flow.
right. And
Okay, let's
so,
go ahead and introduce the show because we've already got into it. Okay. First, I want to welcome my guest, Mr. Paul Thomas. He is a member at the DC3 Disciple Central Community Church. Or you are a pastor, right?
I am. I'm an
You
associate minister.
are. Okay. Well, go on and tell the people about yourself, who you is and what you do, and how
So
long you been doing it.
I'm Reverend Paul Thomas. Y'all can call me Paul. Y'all can say, hey, Paul. I'll answer almost to anything. I'm married, got a lovely wife that keep me in check. And that's the thing that I was talking about. You didn't know what you like or what you needed until you got into a relationship. But man, I've learned so much from her. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm a laid back guy. I'm half hood, half holy. Don't play with me, pray with me. I just tell it
Okay.
like it is, and that's who it is, and that's what it is. What's
Hey,
up, Super
Mario.
Mario? And so like I was saying, you know, dating volume is not a bad thing.
It's
It's not.
not.
And people
Speaking of your
always,
wife, I want to share this story before we get deep into the subject. I want to share the story of how. See, I didn't like. I guess I knew you were married, but I didn't know your wife. You
right,
know, at the time, like and I would see you all the time, and I just know, Brother Paul is a cool, tall dude. That's tall Paul.
right,
And
right.
so what happened, y'all? Funny stories. One of my good friends' mother passed a few years ago. And on that day, of course, she really didn't want to be bothered, be around a lot of people or whatever. So she had just a certain few people, that she would have around her that day. So she said that she was going over to this lady's house. Well, I didn't know the lady. I had, seen her bodyguard, my friend, because she was doing a real good. She wouldn't let nobody touch her, speak to her, hug
That's
her,
right.
nothing. Like she was bodyguard for real. So when I called my friend and said, "Hey, where are you?" She said, "Well, I'm at such and such house, just meet me over here. I'm only doing maybe, 2 or 3 people can come over." I'm like, okay, cool. So I walk into this strange lady house. I ain't never met her, don't know who she is. And, we just sitting there, talking, shooting the breeze or whatever. And then in comes this dude. And I recognize the voice. I'm like, that voice shows up me. I turned around. Paul said, "What you doing in my house?" And it was just so crazy. That's why you got to be on your best behavior at all times. Because here I am in this man's house and didn't even know I was in your house. You know what I'm saying? But good thing we were cool. You know what I'm saying? That was the
I'm,
good part.
I'm probably one of the coolest people you'll ever meet.
Right.
I probably am. I'm not like stuck up. I'm not any of that. I'm
Right.
real friendly. I'm real approachable.
Right.
And,
But it was just so crazy because I'm like, I had no idea who that woman was. Had no idea really that she was your wife, or
right,
anything. So I'm like, I'm
right.
glad I was on my best behavior.
So now you see why I'm always in line, right?
She don't play. She looked like she don't play. Like this woman literally looked like, watch how you come to me. But she seems to be pretty sweet.
Right,
But
she is.
anyway, well, and okay, now I got these church announcements. Y'all know it's that time of the year. It's VBS, Vacation Bible School, for all the kiddos. So if you have kids from the ages of 5 to 15, DC3 will be having VBS July 13th through the 15th at 6 from 6 to 8:30 p.m. And you can register on the DC3 app. Now we got the church announcements out the way. Let's get into it. My inspiration for the show, I know you're ready. My inspiration for the show, as I told you, I was watching Pastor Mike Todd, and he's doing a series on cuff to comparison. And
Right.
he just hit on so many points. And the one that stood out for me was the topic of value versus volume. And that's what we're going to get into. And I want to ask you on my first question. First of all, let me thank everybody for sharing. I got a 10 whole shares. That's the most shares that I've gotten, I think, since I've been doing this show. I thank God. Hallelujah. Hey, Stacy.
What's going on with Stacy, Reverend?
I don't know. I think Stacy may have been sick. The last time I asked her why she wasn't at something, she said she wasn't feeling good. So,
Yeah,
child,
I
we
didn't
just
even know.
we keep her lifted up in prayer. Hey, Stacy, we glad you on tonight, sister. So
So
thank
what's
you
your
guys
first
for
question?
sharing.
Hit me with your best shot.
Okay, first question is, do you think, first of all, social media plays a role in what people value today?
You know what? Let me say this first. I posted a post on Facebook this morning. I'm always posting on Facebook in the morning time. And my post said, we have two choices in life. We either decide who we are or we let someone else decide.
Mm,
And here's the thing about social media. Social media is a great thing uh, when you use it the right way.
mm-hmm,
But a lot of times what happens is people forsake the live conversation for what's on Facebook or what somebody that's an influencer on Facebook says. And this is
mm-hmm,
the way it's supposed to be. And so you listen to it so much that it becomes a part of your DNA. Because whatever
mm-hmm.
you feed your spirit, whatever you feed your soul becomes part of who you are. So you
Right,
have to be careful what you take in. And I tell people, take the good and throw away the bad. Because if
right.
you do that, you'll end up with balance. And so I just don't, I do social media, but I do a lot of posting inspirational stuff,
Mm-hmm.
political stuff, and things along those lines. I never ever let social media decide what my relationships are with people or with things.
Right. And Kim said it can be a blessing and a curse. And it can. It
Absolutely.
really can. And we're going to get into that as well because I agree. I think social media plays a big role now, especially, because everything now is fast. Everybody now wants everything instant. Everything is a fashion show. You get more likes when you post a selfie of yourself really fly, really together. You
Right.
get hundreds of likes on that. But if you post something real,
Right.
a statement, you maybe get 5 or 10 likes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But people love, it's like people love the attention now. If you take a good selfie, you about to get likes and hearts and all kinds of stuff. But say something positive or to make some people think, they're going to scroll
Or
right
better
past it.
yet, post a picture of your blessing on there and see how many likes you got. Because people, I don't know what it is. Used to, before social media times, you can tell when a person's jealous of you because you would hear stuff like, I see you with your little old hairdo.
Right.
Right, it's shade. It's what it is. It's shade. But
Right.
now the
I see
new
what you
the
on the
new
car.
shade is not to like your photo, but always lurking to see what God is doing in your life or whatever, or how God bless you or what have you done to empower yourself. And I agree with Kim. It could be a blessing or a curse because sometimes people become so infatuated with what you're doing that they become consumed by your life. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's how you get influences.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of it too because there are certain people that I like and follow, and sometimes I can just, get engulfed in what they're doing and thinking, oh man, that's so awesome, or I'll be glad, when I can do that and all that, and then I have to stop myself because now I've fallen over into, comparison. Like,
Right.
oh, you got this and I don't have it yet. And it's like I have to pull myself off of social media, especially with like celebrities and stuff. I'd be like, man, let me get off here, because I told myself one time, me on here watching what you're doing ain't gonna make me get what I need to get no faster. So let me jump off here and focus
It's not.
on me.
I look at social media in a sense as the trash TV without the actors. You know what I'm saying? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
really, in a real sense, it's really trash TV, and a lot of it is. And that's why I say you have to take the good and get away from the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because people have you thinking they living a whole wonderful life. And in
Right.
reality, it's not a
And it be
real life. It's just the life that they created. You know what
right.
I'm saying? And you see them on the street, they be like, oh, you don't act like you don't know nobody. Well, no, boo, last week you had on eyelashes, you had your hair did. Now you got
Okay.
on and some sweatpants and all this stuff. So I'm like, no, you know who you was.
Yeah, but so that brings me to my next point. I think that people focus so much on materialistic things and status. I once had a guy, I was having a conversation with one of my classmates who was married, for a long time, and he always showed up to the class reunion like he was everything, in the
Right.
nicest clothes and the nice, automobiles, and I always flaunt his wife. And then then after they were divorced, I
Mm-hmm.
had a conversation with him, and he told me, he said, well, that was all for show. He was like, I didn't marry for the right reason. I married because of, I wanted the status of being married and looking good. And he said, but I wasn't, but he said, I didn't marry for the right reasons. And that's another thing that people do. You think that people got all this going on and they just totally not, they are so unhappy with
Right.
themselves, but they so busy trying to look good, to everybody else.
Because the thing is that, to be honest, we all, to a certain degree, we date a person, we marry a person because we have the expectation of what they bring to the table, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But when you stop right there, then that's when the marriage goes south. That's when you end up like your friend is saying it's all for show.
Mhm.
I promise you that the reason I married my wife, and she probably gonna laugh when I say this, but I have been single so long and she had been single so long. We were having a conversation one day, and I said, you know what I love about you more than your beauty, the things that you bring to the table. She said, what's that? I said, I'm just glad you can recognize the sign of a stroke. Because I'm at that age now, you know what I'm saying? I, I don't need the 20-year-old because she's gonna be sitting there hollering, what's wrong? But my
Right.
wife, she knows what's wrong. And that's something of value to me. It's more precious than money because it's my life. And
Right.
people always laugh at me when I say that, but it's real. It's
Yeah,
real.
that's true.
Because here's the deal. If we are one team, all the stuff we want, we can accumulate together.
Right.
Whatever it is, no matter what it is. If we all are on the same page, whatever we want, whatever we need, whatever we desire, we can have it. We put two kids through college before we even start thinking about ourselves. Because we understood the fact that education for them was important. And the reality of it is, look, I want you to get your own money so you don't ask me for mine.
Right.
And that's why, because we invested in our kids first. And they're both doing well. One graduated earlier this year and she had a job within 2 days. One living in Boston doing her thing, living her best life. And
Mhm.
so we have accumulated a lifestyle and created a lifestyle uh, so that we don't have to worry about our kids, yet still live our lives.
Ooh, Stacy, why you all on my notes, ma'am? I ain't even got to that yet. She said, looking at someone else about to come up can have you miss your setup for the blessing and stuff. You are so absolutely right. And that's
Absolutely.
one of my points. Stacy, how you in my notes, ma'am? How you in my notes?
She a preacher. That's what she does. That's what she does. She's a preacher.
You, because I like the way you, and so apparently what you all still instilled in your kids, they're gonna take that with them. And
Right.
like you said, they gonna know how to be a boss and do what they need to do on their own outside of your home, because you have put the right information in them.
The best advice I gave my kids was make sure whatever you major in provides you the opportunity to live the lifestyle that you want to live.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Decide what type of lifestyle you want to live and do whatever it is to make the money to live that lifestyle.
And that's how I do too. When I'm dating, I know you were talking about volume earlier. I can say that in my past, now I've probably been on hundreds of dates, but what I'm looking for, my core values and what I'm looking for has not changed. Now I used to be, stuck on the light brights, with the curly hair and the stuff like that. But over the years, it's changed as far as the actual look. Like I don't care if he's tall or, he don't have to be 6 feet. He don't have to have a 6-pack. He don't have to have all his hair. He do have to have all his teeth, or at least have some, in there. But my core values haven't changed. And like you said about your wife, is that she will recognize the signs of a stroke. Well, for me, I wouldn't date anybody that's and this is another question I'm gonna get to about being equally yoked. I wouldn't date anyone who does not have, a relationship with Christ, because I need for you to recognize when you need to pray for me. Because there's gonna be some times then I might not want to pray for myself, or prayer may be the last thing on my mind, but I'm gonna need a partner who's going to be able to go to God for me, or at least pull me to the side and say, baby, let's pray. And likewise.
Right. And I need you to pray one of them old prayer, one of them type that bring down the house. You know what I'm saying? Because I know the propensities that I have, and I need somebody that's going to be consistent in praying for me. Because here goes the deal. We all have some proclivities that if they go unchecked, or nobody is praying for them, that they can get out of control quick. And so my wife, man, I promise you, my wife is like, you talking about being equally yoked?
Mm-hmm.
This is what she always tell me. My wife, she like people, but she don't like being around people. Where I, on the other hand, I'm running for office every time I meet people. I'm shaking hands, kissing babies.
Right.
We go somewhere, she don't have to worry about keeping me entertained. She can go and enjoy herself with her friends, because I'm going to be entertained. As a matter of fact, if you give me enough time, everybody going to be around me. So we equally yoked, and that's so important that most people leave out. I like what you said about your core values. Here's the thing about core values. Core values have the ability to change as you mature. What was your core value at 18 is not necessarily your core value at 30. You know what I'm saying?
Paul, they've been the same for a long time.
Have they? So you do what you want for a long time.
When I say core values, I mean he has to have a relationship with Christ. He has to be loving. He has to be kind. He has to be a friendly person. I have to be with somebody who's friendly, somebody who's loving and caring. Those values, I've had those values since I was probably a teenager. Those things have not changed.
Right.
Because because those are the things that, I grew up in church. So I grew up, with all the biblical teachings of, what a wife should be and what a husband should be. So those are things that have always been instilled in me. Those things have not changed, which is probably why I'm still single. Now, there was a period of time where I was not in church. So I probably did miss one of my windows, to marry a guy like that. Because when I was younger, even though I had those values, I still just wanted to date and have fun, because I don't know, if you're a PK's kid and you grow up in church, I had to get away from church for a minute. I just had to go out there and live life and see how the other half lived.
I couldn't stand church. I grew up in church. I'm a church kid. I'm a church boy. Grew up from the time in my baby's arm until I turned 18 and left. When I turned 18 and left, from 18 to 30, I wowed it out.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I had no core values. I just did anything and everything that I wanted to do. But then I got married, and even I've been married twice. But even when I got married the first time, it really wasn't for love. It was just because I thought it was expected of me to be married. Mm-hmm. And so even in that marriage, I wowed it out. I did anything and everything that I wanted to do. But then the reality set in when I became 30 and I started going through a divorce. Now watch this. It's after I started preaching. And I'm like, Lord, now here go the deal. From the time we got married all the way to 30, she was always praying for me to get back in church. I'm like, I'm not going to church. And I finally got back in church. And then I took the next step. And now she wake me up 3 o'clock in the morning and tell me I want a divorce.
Wow.
I'm like, where did that in? Right. She had every reason to divorce me. Every reason you could think of, she had it to divorce me. Because I was immature and I didn't know what I wanted in life. But the change in my life really came when I did a 3-year sabbatical from abstaining from sex. And here's what I tell people. Sex has a way of blinding you from who's really for you because you got so many jokers in front of you that ain't the one, but you just like the way they make you feel. Matter of fact, this was my prayer, Lord. The person you have for me to marry, I'm not sleeping with them until our wedding night. And I kept that vow.
Right.
And so much so, my wife's still on. My wife's still on because she'll be like, my wife questioned. She was like, "Well, I was worried about you a minute," because we used to do stuff like I'd stay at her house, but she'd sleep under the cover. I'd sleep on top of the cover. We'd fall asleep on the couch because it was that important to me because I knew she was the one. And here's the deal: I don't know if you saw my page, but back then in 2012 and 2011, we had this hashtag when we got back together called the second time around. I was not ready the first time to be her husband. And so I got myself together. And the best thing she ever told me, boy, go get yourself together and then come to me like a man. All right. And so I did. And here we are almost 9 years later. So we have to understand the fact that you have to have your core values, but then your value system change of what you value. Do you value money more than any of this, or is security more important than this, or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Because here's the deal. I want to ask you a question. What can a man bring to you outside your core values that's valuable to you?
Outside of my core values?
Yeah.
I would like him to. I need somebody to keep me motivated because I do a lot, and because I'm a creative person, I always have a lot of ideas, but I don't know always how to execute. So it will be great for the guy that I'm with to be somebody who knows how to execute.
Right.
Because sometimes I get discouraged in trying because sometimes I just can't figure it out. So then I'll tell myself, well, maybe it's not meant to be because I can't figure it out. Or I'll try and try and try and try, and then I give up because I'm like, Lord, this is not working, so maybe it's not meant to be.
So what else? What else can he bring? Because here's where I'm going with it. You have everything that most men consider valuable.
Well, not most men. It can't be most.
Yeah, they do. But because you're intimidating. Yeah, I see it.
I've been hearing that. Paul, I've been hearing that for the last 20 years. I'm really about done with that one.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
Because what y'all consider valuable is different than what we consider valuable. And it probably has a lot to do with social media. It has a lot to do with music. And here's what we consider valuable. How much money do I make? Do I have a house? Do I have a nice car? You have all 3 of those things. So what can
nobody knows that. Who knows that?
Because you have that look. I'm just saying. Don't be mad at the messenger. I'm saying a lot of men are intimidated by you. And I know you've been hearing that forever.
You want your woman to have nothing?
No, that's not what he's saying. That's not what he's meaning. He's meaning.
So how am I supposed to look? How am I supposed to look? Because I'm gonna be cute. I don't know how not.
But here's the deal. And you're gonna be mad when I say this. You have to make him feel secure in what he brings to the table.
But he got to approach me. I can't make him feel secure if he's scared to talk to me.
Yeah, you can.
He got to knock on the door first. I can't do nothing for you if you don't knock on the door first.
Send that joker a smoke signal. What's up?
I don't know.
It's not just you. It's not just you. You know, I was intimidated by my wife.
I know a bunch of women just like me. We just around here just wait. We just wait for somebody to say hi and knock on the door. I'll let you in, but sir, you got to knock on the door.
Again, I was, you know what? I've never let company.
Knocking the door shall be open. That's what the words say.
Hold on. They talk about Jesus. Come on now. What I'm saying is, I was intimidated by my wife because my wife looked like she had everything that she needed. She had the career, she had the house, she had the car, she had all that. And so what I had to figure out was what was of value to her. And just by having a conversation and listening to her. Watch this. You know what the first gift that I ever bought my wife?
What?
A juicer. It should tell you.
I want something practical. If to look at me, you would probably think I require a lot. But if you talk to me and find out what I need, I just need you to go, can you please go get my tires rotated? Because I don't feel like doing it.
Right.
Can you please go take I'm hearing something in my car. I really don't want to do. I just want the basic stuff. That's what I was saying the last time I had this conversation. If you just talk to me and find out, you'll find out you ain't got to buy a diamond. You ain't got to pay a light bill. Can you just go get my tires and get them rotated? Just do the regular man stuff. Can you get somebody that know how to cut the yard right so I don't have to do it? It's just basic stuff.
So could it perhaps be that you're paying for a check that you did not write? Here's what I mean.
Yeah, what you mean by that?
Because people look like you, have what you have. Anytime he sees somebody like that, they're always talking about how they don't need a man, they just want one or whatever, right? And so he's heard that from people who look like you. I'm not talking about, the face, the body, whatever. I'm talking about just have that look about, I got everything that I need. And real deal, a lot of times, men will never admit this, but sometimes we become intimidated because we don't know what we can give a value. But I'll tell men all the time, listen to what she says. If you listen to what she says, she'll tell you what she wants.
Right.
But the art of conversation is lost because the text message, social media. I bet your inbox blow up. Your inbox blow up.
It don't, Paul. It doesn't. It really doesn't. I told my friend, I said, ain't nobody inboxing me or, ain't nobody saying nothing to me. And then I hear all the time, well, maybe you're intimidated. Sir, this is all I can say to that. If you are afraid to even talk to me or say hi and find out about me, that's really not even my fault. I really can't do anything about that.
So my wife's still on here, right? And she'll tell you this and she'll verify this. I stalked her Facebook page. I did. You remember we talked about how social media can be a blessing or a curse? It was a blessing for me because I learned more about her, because that's how she get her feelings out, is by posting and writing and stuff like that. And so I stalked her Facebook page. And I'm like, okay, oh, you like that? I got you. Oh, I see that. And so
I've been stalked. I've been stalked before, a few times. I've been stalked by a few guys. But it turned into nothing. And it's like, and sometimes, and I hate to say this because it doesn't sound right, but I can only take so many, compliments. Compliments are cute. Yeah, I like your outfit, or I like your glasses, or you got pretty lips, and it's like, but what else? I'm like, I'm doing all these conversations and talking to people. You don't have nothing to say about that. You have no comment on that. The only thing you want to comment on is my outfit or my lips or my. It's like, bruh, come on, give me something else.
You ought to be glad, because boys are concerned with looks.
I know, but there's more to me than that, Paul, is what I'm saying. You can't win me. I can't be won over by compliments. Those are great.
Listen to what I said. Boys are concerned about looks.
Okay, I got you. Got it.
And so let that joke go on. You don't have to tell me I'm handsome. I already know I am.
Right.
And it's not because I'm conceited, it's because I'm confident and I know what I bring to the table.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still in awe that I married somebody as beautiful as my wife. I'm like, boy, I'm married up. You know what I'm saying? But we
Right.
fit. And so what we have to understand is like I tell guys, have a conversation. Me and my wife had a whole interview before we started dating. Like,
Yeah.
what you dating for? She's like, well, I have the hopes of getting married one day to the right man. Oh, okay, me too. Uh, what do you think about this? Well, I think this, this, and this. Oh, I do too. You know, we got thinking like we got something in common. And so we had a whole. I promise you, we sat across the table from each other at a restaurant. I forgot the name of the restaurant. It was in Cedar Hill, and we had a whole conversation, a whole conversation, a whole job interview. Because I need to know if you want this job or not. Because make no mistake about it, it's going to be a job.
Right. It's work.
And so, you know, and so we have to look at that from that standpoint of, man, it's a job interview.
Right.
The one
And
thing
I've
we
had
always,
those, I promise you, I've had great hundreds of conversations with guys who were intelligent and well versed and seemed like they were interested. They asked the right questions, they did the right things. But I mean, it was over in 2 weeks. And I go, what in the world?
so
Well,
what was it? They never give you a reason why?
I would never get a reason. If I had a reason, I would know I would know if I'm doing something wrong. But I never get a reason. Never get a
Right,
reason. So
right.
you know they just ghost. You know these days people just ghost. Once they get tired of talking to you and they moving on to somebody else, that's it. You just ghost them. So after about 3 days, I don't hear from them. Or if I call them or text them and they don't respond, you got 3 days. After that 3 days, your number is so deleted, and I
Right.
forget your name, who you are. I forget that we ever met.
Right. But the thing about it is that again, I don't care how your approach game is. I just care that your follow through game is good.
Yeah,
And,
and there is zero follow through these days.
but here's the deal, and I say this, man, and I don't want to like offend anybody, but men have so many options now,
They do.
and what you don't do, somebody else will, and so
Absolutely.
they will actually take the easy road versus the hard road, which is a series of micro relationships that end up in the bedroom for a few times until they no longer interested, then they go away.
Absolutely. And I'm not here for it. I
Right,
say, I say, go do what you need to do, sir, because it's not happening here.
right, right. Because you know the deal. We talked about volume. Yeah, it's okay to date in volume. Because again, it shapes your values, but it also teaches you what you do want in a relationship and what you don't want in a relationship. Because boy, I went through some bad jokers before I found the one that was for me. And it's that way because, you know, you have options. You know, I can kind of tell if you, well, I can get along with anybody. And some people are just made to be friends. But because men, for the most part, are visual creatures, that we have the propensity to micro date. I date you for 2 weeks, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or they'll text you, what you doing?
2 weeks.
Or text you at 3 o'clock in the morning. What's up, boo? Nigga,
Uh,
nothing.
I don't
Nothing.
get that.
You
Yeah, I don't
just
get
got your number blocked. And that's the way it should be. But if all women work that way, then the options will be few. They got to man up.
that.
But
That's why I say now I don't want to be single. I do, I do want somebody, but at this point, if you're not ready to put in the work or at least put in the conversation and the follow through, I don't have time. And a friend once told me, and we were having drinks at the time, so I don't know if she really meant this, but she said it. And she said that because I'll turn a guy if I know off the bat that he is against church or against God or not a believer, whatever, I automatically like next. And so she said to me, she said, you can't do that. She said you are blocking someone who could potentially, be your life partner by just throwing them away because they don't, up front, have the same,
Right,
religion or have the same belief that you do. But my
right.
thing is, I don't see the point in wasting my time. I don't have time to tell to convince no grown man that he need to, you know. I'm
So
okay
let me,
with being a witness. I'm okay with being a witness because I know that's what we're supposed to do
right.
as Christians. But I'm not going to seriously date someone that I have to bring to Christ. Now we can be cool, right? And if you decide there's something that you want to do, that's great. But I'm not going to seriously date anyone who has said to me, I don't believe in Jesus, I don't believe in God, I'm not with that church stuff. That's an automatic, okay, well then we can just be cool because I really ain't got nothing for you. How you
Right.
feel about it?
Well, I think sometimes I believe that people can, I fundamentally believe people can change, right?
I do.
Where they at now may not be where they're at 2 years from now. Watch this. My wife and I was dating. She didn't know I was a preacher. We had a
Mm-hmm.
mutual friend. She's like, that's Rev Thomas. No, my wife told me, she said, I never marry a preacher. I said,
Mm.
"Me." She said, no, I'm not. She said, that's too much pressure. I said, no, it's not. I said, you're going to marry a preacher and it's going to be me. And she was like, boy, boo, here we are, 9 years in almost, and she married a preacher. But
Right.
the thing is that I believe that fundamentally people can change. And here's why. If they tell you that right off the bat, they're not interested in God, they don't want God, they don't have anything to do with God, I think that they hadn't had that come to Jesus moment yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the right. I'm not taking your right away from kicking them to the curb, but watch them from a distance
Mm-hmm.
and see where they grow to.
And I will do that. And I'm doing that currently. There's a young man that I really, right now, I really, really do like him, but he has told me straight up, I'm not doing it. I'm not interested. No, I'm not going to church with you. I'm like, well, you at least just come one time and visit. Nope, I'm not doing it. And
Right.
he's a great guy. I like everything about him except that part. So we're friends and we're cool, but I'm not gonna date him. Like we can't, like I just can't be putting, because I don't want to be put myself in a predicament where, okay, now I really, 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 really like you and want to be around you, but I already know that we're not equally yoked. So I don't even want to put myself in that
So have
position.
you asked him why he don't believe in God or why he don't want to come to church?
Um, I think it's just his understanding of the whole, he's stuck on some this black stuff, you know.
Right, right,
Yeah, the Bible wasn't created for us, the slaves gave us the Bible and that
right,
type of situation.
right. And that's the fundamental reason that most people don't have anything to do with churches. They don't understand the Bible. You know,
Right.
well, how you don't worship God and you got a white Jesus on the wall? Man, that's somebody's perception of who Jesus is. I know because I read my Bible that Jesus is black. I know
Hmm.
that there's blackness throughout the Bible. So the
Right.
Bible is chock full of blackness. Oh, well, I follow Honorable Minister Farrakhan. But do you not know that the same thing that's in Honorable Minister Farrakhan's Quran is in the Bible? Stuff like that. But like I say,
Mhm.
don't totally dismiss him because he can change.
I mean, I don't dismiss him. I just can't. I'm not going to put in any valuable time
Right,
with
right.
that.
I get that. I
We can
get that.
still be friends now. If he decide a year from now, hey
Right.
Kim, I was tripping. I appreciate that we still have this friendship, and I think I want to reevaluate the situation. Then I'm all for it.
Right. Because, boo, I'm
But
not going to wait on you.
yeah, I'm not gonna
You
wait
know,
on it. We can be cool.
right. And
We
if you
cool.
missed out, that's on you. I, I,
Exactly.
you know, I know who
It's
I
just
am.
like it's just like you were saying earlier about how you was out there wilding out, and I'm
Yeah,
sure there were some people that probably were interested in you and wanted to build a
right.
serious connection with you, but you wasn't interested because you was doing your thing. Well, see, I had that situation too where there was a guy who I really, really, and this was probably 15, 20 years ago. And I really, really liked this guy. I mean, I just thought, okay, this is it. I'm gonna marry him. I just need him to get some act right. And he just couldn't do it. It didn't matter how many chances I gave him, how many times he went away and came back and went away and came back, and I gave him chance after chance, and he just kept screwing up every time. So then our last and final time that he just disappeared, because he would do a full disappearing act. This last time he came back and he apologized, but guess who don't care no more?
You.
I don't care.
But see, I watch this.
I spent years going back and forth, telling you, bruh, when you gonna get it together? I'm like, what is going on? So I feel like now I'm not obligated to give you another chance, because now after 20 years you're ready, sir.
Right.
I want other options.
Right. So watch this. Before I got married, before me and my wife ever got into a serious relationship, when I was on my sabbatical.
What you said, Jay, I agree with everything you said, Jay.
But I went back and apologized to every woman I had dated prior to her. And this is what I did.
When a woman's fed up, yes, Stacey.
Stacey, don't start, Stacey. But I went back and apologized to every woman that I could find out I had ever dated, because a lot of them put a lot into me, and I wasn't ready. And the thing about it was, I know I hurt some people. I left a trail of destruction in my past. But what I did was, after I did that, I freed myself. And I freed them. And a matter of fact, some of them that I dated are married now, and they'll call me and ask me for marriage advice. But I had to not take the old baggage into my new relationship, into the new. Remember I said about paying for checks that you didn't write? Yeah. And so I agree with what Jay said with this caveat to it. Everybody has the right to change, but you have the right to change over there.
Exactly. Change over there.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have to wait for you to change. And the thing about it is, again, if you don't know what your value is, somebody will assign your value. You ever see people that's in a relationship and it's just always fighting and tumultuous and everything? One of them don't know their value. That's just bottom plain and simple. They don't know their value.
I've seen it. I have literally seen people go through marriages or be in marriages with this person who y'all are not equally yoked. Light and dark cannot coincide together. It just can't do it. Y'all can be friends. You can pray for them. But I just don't believe. I've seen women hook up with these men who were not ready, who had not given their lives over to Christ. And here you are trying to live saved. And then you mad because this joker won't come to church, or y'all got to have an argument every Sunday about you going to church. And I was like, who got time for that? Why? I be thinking, why are you even mad? Why would you even want to put yourself through that?
So my grandmother and grandfather used to tell me all the time, son, don't ever argue with a fool, because they'll bring me down to that level and beat you with experience. Let me give you the 2022 remix. Don't ever date someone that's unequally yoked, because they'll bring you down to their level and they'll beat you with experience. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to be careful. The Bible says, do not cast your pearls in front of swine, right? You know why? You know why? Because pigs don't know what to do with pearls. They gonna drag through the mud, do all that.
They don't know the value.
So to women or men, if you know you're a good man and you know you're a good woman, don't throw your pearls in front of that dog. Don't do that, because they ain't gonna know what to do with them. And now you end up hurt, angry, and mad.
Right.
Because you put your pearls in the wrong place and they didn't take care of like you thought they ought to.
Absolutely.
And so when we look at it, the volume part of it, then we look at the value part of it, right? The value part of it is, it's not only, it's emotional,
right?
It's physical, and it's mental. And so the first part of it, right, keep around your neck. Don't throw them in front of no joker. So if you don't ever have the mental part of it, right, which is your mentals, right, knowing what you want, knowing what the expectations are, because here go the deal. You have to teach some people how to treat you. You have to. And so once you get the mental part of it right, the physical part has no other choice but to be great because it's not predicated upon how you feel.
Yes, Paul. Yes, Rev. Yes.
I had to learn that, kid. You know how many bad relationships I went through to learn it?
Hey,
Because
you learned it. That's a good
here's the
point. You
biggest
learned
part about here's the biggest part about being equally yoked, right? If you're equally yoked and y'all have an issue in the marriage, it won't cause y'all to split up, but it'll cause y'all to fight to keep the marriage together.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. But you have to be. You have to be because, you know, it's too easy to walk away.
Right.
It's too easy to walk away.
And see, that's one of my other points. I feel like marriage is gonna be hard enough, even if y'all on the same page, right? So why you gonna be with somebody and you over here and they over here to start now?
Right. Right.
So I say, how you gonna build a foundation on straw? Tell, I want my foundation on concrete. I want concrete slab.
Right. Right. The thing about it is that you have to look at it from the standpoint, not only is it religiously, but it has to be financially. He may be a spendthrift.
That part.
And y'all end up broke or filing bankruptcy because that joker don't know how to control his money. Or that joker or she don't know how to control her shoe habit. And so we need to have a reasonable expectation. What's this? My wife and I, when we got married, we talked about all this. And this is what we said. You can spend whatever you want up to $1,000. Any other thing of $1,000, we have to discuss it.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
We have to
Totally
discuss
agree.
it.
And I believe in separate bank accounts.
Oh, absolutely. You have 3 bank accounts. You have separate her bank account, your bank account, and the house bank account.
Now, that's what I'm talking about right there. Because
Now,
I know
I'm show you.
This dude that does the disappearing acts, he likes to spend money. I told him, sir, you're going to have your own account. You can't spend my money like that.
Let me show you how well this equally yoked thing work in a marriage. 2 years ago, my wife and I were going to buy a house, right? Mm-hmm. We went all the way to the closing table. I had been telling her, well, God said this is the place he wants us to live. He wants us to live. We got to the closing table. I said, babe. She said, what? I said, I got something to tell you. She said, what's that? I said, it's not our house. Boy, what you mean it's not our house? We gonna lose all this money? I said, babe, I'm just telling you what God, I said, do you love me? She said, yeah. I said, do you trust me? Yeah. I said, do you think that I talk to God? She said, yeah. She said, well, I'm gonna trust you. 2 years later, we sold our house, got more for it than they was gonna give us back then, and bought a bigger house in a better place.
Right.
And I said, babe, thank you for trusting me enough to know that I hear from God and that I follow God's word. She said, well, I just got one thing for you. She said, why did you keep telling me that it was God's house? This is the house God told us to get. I said, babe, because I wanted you to have that house so bad that I was like, I got to hear to God. Mm. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the being equally yoked produces, is that when a mistake is made, it won't be held like family photos that every time that I get mad at you, I reach in my back pocket and pull it out and show it to you.
Right, right.
It's so.
And that's why I keep saying that I want somebody to, yes, I want you to appreciate how I look on the outside, but I want somebody to actually have a conversation with me and get to know me, because I promise you I'm better on the inside than I am on the outside.
Right. Watch this, and you're going to laugh when I tell you this. I didn't even want my wife physically, because I knew that if I got her heart, that physically she would be mine. Right. And so I'm going about it in the way of.
Guys don't know that. They don't know that, Paul.
I'm trying to give $1 million worth of game for $9.99. and so I worked on getting her heart and getting her to trust me and being trustworthy. See, the thing is, there's 2 types of trust. There's emotional trust, and then there's what's the other one? Practical trust, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody comes into a relationship with a certain amount of trust, right? Mm-hmm. Just certain things, no matter what it is, you got to trust them on it, right? But here's the thing. If I don't have the verbal part of trust, that what I say is the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I come out to be a liar, we'll never get to the second stage of trust. But if I show you that I'm trustworthy with what I say, then we can get to the practical part of where I put into practice what I said.
Right.
And that's the failure. Right, right. You can't ever, my wife would tell you this. My wife tell you this, she'll tell you, girl, you can't ever go back and tell Paul this is what he said and it's not what he said. Because what I say is what I mean.
Right.
That's my word is my bond.
It should be. We grown.
Exactly.
We grown. Ain't nobody out here in their 40s should be saying and not doing. If you're gonna say it, you need to do it.
Right. Because it goes back to what I said. Boys are not trustworthy.
Yeah.
Men are. Because here goes the deal. I know it's some stuff that I've told my wife that was gonna cause some issues, but I was being honest with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it was going to cause some issues, but because she trusted me enough to say, at least he told me we can talk this out.
Mm-hmm.
Because we made the deal. I'm not ever sleeping upstairs. I'm not ever sleeping on the couch. You could be mad at me, but when we get in the bed, I'm still going to put my feet on you. I'm still going to do all that because you mad at what I done, not at my physical being. You understand what I'm saying? And so we have that understanding. I've never slept on the couch in 9 years. I take that lot back. I slept on the couch a couple of weeks ago because she was sick.
Mm-hmm.
but I never had it because she was mad. I ain't never put her out the room because she was mad. That's what little boys do because we don't know how to deal with our emotions. And here goes the deal. Some women like this. I told you not to say that to me, and this is what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I always got that mouth going. But let's talk about it because we can't talk about it with you yelling. You know?
That's so good. And see, even when I see a couple, such as yourself or other couples, Pastor King and his wife and other couples, sometimes I think, man, God, where is my that? But at the same time, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And as bad as I say I want that type of relationship, I really don't know what that type of relationship is. I don't know what these folks got going on behind closed doors. But
it's like you said earlier, on Facebook, you be like, man, they got it going on. Their relationship is great. Until you meet them, and 2 days later, they tell you, well, me and so-and-so finna get a divorce. I thought y'all just on Facebook.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, golly, is it that easy to walk away?
But and to see people front though, people they'll say and claim that the relationship this and this is my best friend and blah 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 blah, and then you look up later and it's like now y'all can't stand each other. I'm like, what? You just posted this the other day. Like, what happened? What?
So let me tell you the truth. Me and my wife get on each other's nerves a whole lot of times.
I mean, but that's just.
But ain't nobody going nowhere. Ain't nobody going nowhere but to the next room. That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
And because people don't understand, because a lot of people don't have conflict resolution skills.
Mm-hmm.
The only way they know how is to fold their arms and pout like a kid till they get their way.
Right.
Because they're going to deal. Every argument, every disagreement is not going to come to a conclusion of who's right and who's wrong. Sometimes the resolution is to agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that.
And then move on. You know what I'm saying? We got that, so let's go to the next thing. Because I'm not going to let that, because here go what they, arguments breed contempt if you let them fester.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's nip this in the bud now. I don't want to talk to you about it 3 days later. Because now I hate to play. I done played this whole argument in my head. I already got what I'm going to say. I already know how I'm going to say it to you. And so you're not going to get a word in edgewise. So let's get this settled now so that we don't have to deal with it tomorrow, next week, next year, 5 years down the line. Because here go the deal. Again, they'll pull it out like photos and say, 5 years ago, you said this and it hurt my feelings and you never did apologize. Oh, I didn't even know it hurt your feelings. I thought we was good.
Right. I thought we was good. That's why communication is so important. Because I
Right.
know that for one person, I'm still holding on to some things that he did in the past. That's one of the reasons why I feel like I don't want to date you right now. Because I don't have to.
Right.
Because I even had to tell him some things that he did in the past that really, really hurt my feelings. And I don't know if he can do anything about it. I know he's tried to make up for it, but it happened so many years ago, and I've been over him for so long. I just don't even know that there's a possibility of me even forgiving him enough to the point that I would say, okay, well, let's try it again. Like I just feel like I'm over it.
So let me ask you this. Do he have the same attitude that he had then as he have now? Or
It seems a
or
little
have he grown?
it appears that he has grown.
Right.
It appears that he has grown.
Right.
But am I giving him the same opportunity and access to me that I did then? No.
Well, you don't have to. You get to deny access, but let's just have a conversation from afar and let's see what. Because see, I can tell if you change by the way you talk and by your actions.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
and so I'll talk to you not in the sense of us dating, but let's
Right.
talk and see if you've grown. Let me see if you know if we don't. Since social media is a big thing now, if you like me or if you're interested in me, do you like my post? And we talking and you keep telling me you want to be with me. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Or are you not liking my post because your girlfriend is your friend on Facebook and you scared
Hmm.
she gonna see it and they gonna have all these questions?
Hmm.
So so
But you know what, Pop? At this point, I I can't even say that I care if he's changed or not.
it was that bad.
It, I'm just done.
Is it that
I
bad?
feel I feel like I deserve more options. I feel like I don't want to go back to something that was in the past. I want something fresh and new.
So have you prayed about it?
Him specifically?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. So you know better than God. God might have went and fixed
No,
it.
I didn't say I knew better than God. What I said was at this moment in time, I don't even think that I care if he's changed or if he hasn't.
Right, but that might be your husband.
It,
Pray about
it
it.
could be,
Pray about it.
but
Ask
I
God
don't.
what he said.
Yeah, I mean
Now I know
that's what
you'll be mad. You'll be
praying
mad.
is an option. I could pray about it.
Huh?
I said praying is an option. I could pray about it.
Right. And see what God said. And if he said, yeah, then man, you gonna go back begrudgingly because I know you're obedient to what God said.
Hmm.
And here go the deal. Whatever God tell me something that I don't want to do, I have tiptoed anticipation because God, you know I don't want to do this, but we're gonna see how you gonna work it out.
Hmm.
Because you have to fix me too.
Right. That's the thing. It would take some fixing on my part because I don't care. I am done. I want to get back to the point that Stacey said earlier. Did you have something to say?
No, go ahead. Which part was
I
it?
want to get back to the point that Stacey brought up earlier because she stole my point. When we were talking about comparison, and so my point was don't let, well, not my point, but I got this from Pastor Ty. He said, don't let comparison kill your calling, which
Right.
is what Stacey was talking about earlier. And I had never thought about it in that light of being so envious of people and saying, well, because he was saying that sometimes your next level is attached to someone that you're envious or jealous of,
Right.
right? And I was thinking how thought back to the times that I said about other people, God, well, how did they come up so fast? Why are they getting opportunities, that I should get? Because uh, I don't want to compare myself because there me and this other person are in the same industry type,
Uh,
but I feel like they get more recognition. But because I know the type of person that they are behind the scenes, I kind of feel like, God, really? You blessing them even though you know what type of person they are? And I'm like, I'm here, doing everything that I know. But I can't get caught up in that because even me thinking like that,
Right.
you know, Kyle's got, you know, the side eye me and be like, hold up, chick.
Right. Because what's in your heart, the Bible says, whatsoever man thinketh, so is he.
Right. So, but
So,
I don't want my heart, but see, I don't want my heart to be like, I don't want my heart to be like that. So I have to catch myself and be
right.
like, girl, you just got to be happy for me, you know?
Right.
Even
Watch
if
this.
it's not real, even I gotta fake it until it's real. You know what I'm saying? I gotta pretend. Let me just even pretend that I'm happy for you because that can grow into no, dude, I'm really happy for you.
Right. But here's the thing. This is why you should be genuinely happy. Because if God can bless them who's not doing it the right way, more so he can bless you who's doing it the right way.
Right.
The story of Joseph, right? Joseph and his brothers jealous of him. But they didn't like him better. He loved him more. He loved him this. So much so that they end up throwing him in a pit.
Mm-hmm.
But he ended up in the palace. But that was part of Joseph's road to travel because God needed him in the palace so that when it came a famine in the land, that he could bless his family.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's probably in God's plan that because that person is moving ahead of you, they got to move ahead of you so they can get in place. So when you come up and God get ready to bless you, they can help you.
That part.
Right. And so you, at least you know he in the neighborhood.
Right. And yeah, and so after even listening to that message, I said, man, I really need to just start being, you know, cordial. Because at first I had a little bit of animosity, you know, toward this person. But then I had to look at myself and be like, girl, you know, and after hearing this, you know, this lesson that Pastor Todd was talking about, you know, cuffing to comparison, I'm like, my blessing in some way could be, you know, attached to this person.
Exactly.
So I at least need, you know, to be cordial and keep the lines of communication open.
Listen.
Because you just never know.
Listen, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you if that's where you at if that's where they're at in life, and I'm the one that's being no, I'm gonna help you get on up there so I can get my blessing faster because evidently God has a plan through you. I'm gonna do the same thing. Two people applied for a supervisor job. I applied for it, right? Everybody and their mama thought I was gonna get it. The two people that I trained got it. First thing in my mind, I ain't helping them. That's what they chose to be a supervisor. And I pouted for 3 days. And then God reminded me, what you made for?
Right.
Because had you got that job, you'd have had to spend more time away from your family. You'd have had to do all this other stuff. How do you know that that's the job I had for you? I said, God, because I'm qualified for it. He said, just because you qualified, that don't mean that's where I'm going to place you. You qualified for other stuff.
Right.
And so wait until I place you before you get mad at everybody else.
Right.
It's so.
Yeah, I had to do a deep dive with Kim. I was like, I had to pull myself to the side.
Wait, let me check me.
Check myself.
Because I promise you, man, it hurts. It hurts because you know you're doing everything the right way, and you know, man, this joker here low down and dirty.
Right.
God, like really, God, that's what you gonna do?
Yes.
That's what you gonna do?
Jesus, how dare you?
I'm the one that taught them half the stuff they know. But just how you gonna do me, God? I guess we ain't cool no more. We ain't friends no more, God.
Like,
but
Lord, that's how you doing me? That's how you doing me, Jesus?
Here's the hard part, he doing it in your face.
Right. And you just gonna put it right in my face like this so I got to see it all the time.
Right. I get reminded every day. Let's give a so for doing such a wonderful job or whatever it is.
And I'm back there like, boo.
I'm like, no, man, but here go the deal. That success ain't your success.
Right.
God might be using that success to draw them close to him. Your success will far exceed theirs because here go the deal. You didn't get it by hook or crook, so you could be comfortable where God placed you at.
Yeah.
You can be comfortable there. Boy, Stacy, Stacey, you get on my nerves sometimes because you be calling me out on the slick. She does. Because I ain't been, I'm like, God, I didn't even think about that, man. Because it's like, golly.
Hey, Letitia said, I'm learning so much today. I'm loving the conversations. Thank you, Letitia.
Thank you, Letitia. Stacey, I'm not talking for 2 days.
I'm here for it. Look, let me give y'all my tagline. I'm here to inspire, encourage, and empower you to live life better, baby. That's what I'm trying to do.
Stacey, because of that question you asked a while ago.
What'd she say?
Talking about what? I told her I wasn't talking to her for 2 days. She like, what? Because you asked that question. I got to look at myself now. Because
Mario said, good timing is unmatched. Wait on him. I'm waiting, Mario. I'm waiting.
Right. Because, man, that's the hardest part. I think Freddie Hayes preached a sermon one time called Wait and Get on My Last Nerve.
Ooh.
And boy, was he ever right. Because I think that anything that I ask God for, that he ought to get to me right then and there.
I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't.
Let me share something with you that Mike Tyson said. And it's kind of like messed me up at first, so I thought about it. Mike Tyson said, they asked Mike Tyson, he was talking to he was on a podcast with some NFL players, some former NFL players, some former NBA players. And they would ask him, Mike, have you ever been happy? He's like, yeah, I've been happy. He said, but I didn't have peace. He said, the most peace I ever got was the 3 years that I spent in jail. They were like, how do you have peace? He said, because I lost everything that I had. And Mike said, sometimes I think God give you everything that you ask for, so he'll show you that you're not able to handle it right now. And here go the deal. The Bible says that he'll keep thy mind in perfect peace. He'll keep you in perfect peace, those whose mind is stayed on him.
On him.
You can get the same amount of success, but you won't have any peace in it. I could have got the supervisor job, but I wouldn't have had peace in it. Even though anything that we understand the fact that anything we get is either God sent, it's all God sent or God allowed. And it's always used to teach us a lesson. And here goes the deal. Is our peace really worth that? Is our peace? Right. Peace is price. They don't even sell that at Walmart. You know you get everything at Walmart. And so I had to look at that and I'm like, oh, Mike, preach then. Because it made perfect sense to me, because I might have everything, but I don't have no peace. I can't go outside. I can't go to sleep at night. I can't do the things that I'm supposed to do as a father, as a husband, any of that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's so, man, we have to be careful what we ask for, what we get jealous about.
Right. And because one of the notes that he said, I think this is going to be my last point, he said, comparison paralyzes our perspective.
Stop it. Stop it.
Isn't that an amazing point? Comparison paralyzes our perspective.
Look, I'm going to let the people ask that.
I can't be so focused on what somebody else has that it paralyzes, my thought of what, God has for me.
Right.
Like you just said, I don't know what God has for me, but I can't be focused on other people.
Right.
Because then that takes my mind off of what that takes away even my listening to God. If I'm in a state where I've been praying and meditating and asking God, what's next? What do you have for me? I totally lose that when I start focusing on, what somebody else already got.
Right. But watch this. Even more importantly is when you become so focused in comparison, you will stop walking the path God had for you and start following their path and wonder why you never reach what you're supposed to have.
Right, because it ain't mine. Their stuff is not my stuff.
They ain't got your name on it.
They ain't got my name on it.
I put my name on my stuff.
I'll tell you what, I heard Pastor King say one day, honey, if you've been waiting a long time, it's because you put in a special order, and special orders take long.
Exactly. Because he'll never allow you to get it before you are able to handle it. I can't give you that job yet, or I can't give you those accolades because your head is getting big right now.
Mm-hmm.
I got to wait until you mature a little bit more so that I give it to you, and then you'll give me glory for it instead of saying, yeah, I did that.
Right.
Because watch this. This is how the Lord's prayer here. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. This is what it teaches us. God will share everything in the world with you except for his glory. For it says, thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. He'll share everything in the world with you except for his glory. Because he wants that from you. He wants you to glorify him. He said, if I be lifted up, I'll draw in me. Not Kim, not Paul.
Oh.
All. You know what I'm saying? And so understand this. You may not be getting the accolades now, but then when they start coming, you just say, you know what? It wasn't me, it was God. I give God all the glory.
God be the glory, hunty.
Right.
I can't wait to say those glorious words. I'm just waiting to say them.
I know you're right.
But
And
I'm
you
praying for
should.
everything. I say it all the time now. I'm joking, but I'm really thankful, honestly, for everything that I have, everything that I don't have, everything that's coming. I'm thankful.
Right.
I'm thankful for the 10 people that came on tonight and watched. Hallelujah.
Absolutely. Look, y'all should tell y'all friends they need to come watch this. This is fire, man. This is some good stuff. And I'm not saying that because it's me and Kill, but I'm saying it's just some good content. And y'all need to share it. And y'all need to make sure people watch it.
Please share it. And I'm gonna share it on my personal page when we sign off. But yeah, guys, please, thank you, Mario. Please share it. Stacy, please share it. Matisha, please share this conversation. I know it was really good. We put out some really good nuggets today.
Look, this will bless me.
It bless you. It bless me too.
I'm a part of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, man, thank you for inviting me, because I'll be honest with you.
Actually, you invited yourself.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
Well, you know, that's part of the politician in me. I just like you need some meat on your show. That's all I see.
Yeah. So,
but
I'm glad I obliged.
Thank you for obliging me when I asked to come on. Because like I say, I watch it all the time, and you have some great content. It's just, I don't know if people really want to hear great content. I think they would rather hear the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
That's what I said. They would rather hear the trash, but that's okay.
Right.
I'm doing the Lord's work, and I told somebody I don't want to be fussing and fighting and cussing and doing all that type. That's not my show. That's not my flow.
At all. At all.
I'm here to bring the positive. I'm here to bring the good word. What you say?
You're one of the sweetest people I know. With me, you ain't never had no problems.
Thank you. I try not to have no problems with nobody, sir.
I'm scared of you for real though. I am. Because you look like you don't play.
But I do. I'm playful. I don't play, but I'm playful.
Oh, okay. Listen, next time, if I ever come back again, we can't let Stacy in, because Stacy be working my nerves with all them.
I'm letting everybody in. The doors of the church are open, honey. Once we go live, the doors of the church are open. Everybody's welcome.
Listen, thank you once again for inviting me in. Thank everybody that showed up. I appreciate y'all. And again, it don't cost you nothing. Not one thing to hit that share button, because I want to help people. I want my friend to have 100 and I want to have 500 views by this time tomorrow.
Praise the Lord. Y'all, sharing is free 99. It's free 99. Just push the share button. That's it.
I'm saying that with my chest. Then I believe it by tomorrow.
All right, we're about to sign off, y'all.
Y'all have a great night, and I hope y'all enjoy the content.
Great night. Please like, share, tag people. Again, my aim is to inspire, encourage, and empower people to live life better. So you guys have a great night, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Peace.